So it's getting late in the day and just finished making some planks with a regular crosscut carpentry saw. And I thought what I would do with these is try and make a tabletop. Didn't really have anything specific in mind when I cut them. It was just more of a concept to see if it could be done. But they actually worked out fairly well. Now, what I'm going to have to do is to join these together. And I brought some tools to be able to do that. But as you can see, they're not exactly straight. When we made the cuts with the crosscut saw, kind of did our best, and that's what we ended up with there. So a little bit of a gap there. Not super smooth either. Not as much worried about that. But this trip out, as I said, I was going to plan on doing a little bit of carpentry here, so I brought a little block plane along and sharpened that up before I left home. And I think what I'm going to do is just, it's a little bit tight here in the middle, gaps on top and bottom. So I think what I'm going to do, maybe I might flip them around a couple of times, but I think that's the best way right there. That one's not very straight, and this one's not bad, but probably minimal amount of work. I'm going to take those two right there. And just take a little bit off the middle, maybe even just this one, and see if I can't get those two to fit just a little bit tighter. So yeah, just gonna go to work here a little bit. Remove some material there. Won't take long. A little bit more off of this end here. Just kind of eyeball it. Okay, I'm happy with that. You guys probably couldn't entirely see what I'm doing, but you can see the sun probably behind that, and there's not a whole lot of light coming through there. So next step is to join these two pieces together. So the next thing we got to do to put this all together here is to join these two pieces, and the easiest way to do that is to dowel this. So you've seen in some of my other videos, I brought my antique bit brace or drill out with me, so I came kind of prepared, hoping to do this project. So what I did is I brought let's reach over here. I brought a 1/2 inch bit. I brought my ratchet too in case I need start a little slower than this bit brace is going to want to start. So I got my 1/2 inch bit, and I purchased some dowel material. This is just hardwood oak dowel 1/2 inch. So I'm hoping that when we cut that 1/2 inch hole, that 1/2 inch dowel is going to tie this all together. So I think I'm going to do 3. The more we do, the harder it's going to get to line the two halves up. Brought a little bit of a tool to help me line those up, but obviously I haven't got any jigs, so this is all going to be pretty much freehand. The key here is to try and get these holes as vertical and centered as possible. So, you know, there's only one way to find out, and that's just to go ahead and start drilling. So, so once again, just gonna try and hold this here. How many times have you heard me say less than ideal conditions? But here we go again. So start with the one that's about in the middle. I don't think it really matters how deep we go. Again, just so long as we're straight. And you guys are getting a better view that way than I am, but it's kind of this way that's going to really matter here, whether this all comes together. Just trying to go slow and straight. I think we're okay. Just going to bury that in a couple inches, maybe up to the paint. Things there. Okay, so let's try our dowel again. Okay, so good. Dowel goes in, it's actually fairly tight. So I'm going to go ahead and drill 2 more of those. I'm going to probably do that off camera. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how we're going to line these 2 sides up. Okay, so I got my 3 holes drilled here. And next thing to do is line up our 2 halves here. So you remember I originally had these pen marks on there. Those are basically just tell me which 2 faces go together. So the easiest thing to do here, and again, sorry guys, I cheated a little bit. But what I brought along with me is dowel centers. And basically those are little plugs. Now you can buy these for like $2, so I bought mine. You know, if you had an old 1/2-inch bolt or something like that, you could make your own. That would be the, you know, the cool YouTube thing to do. But anyway, so I'm gonna take my 1/2-inch dowel centers, put them in my 1/2-inch holes, make sure I got my faces lined up kind of where I want that. I don't know if I'm going to overhang one or the other end. Doesn't matter too much. Try and get your edges square. We'll go with that. Sometimes I really wish I was in my garage at home, but just give those things a tap. And basically what you got is a mark that's transferred onto the other side. So that's a close-up, not sure if you can see it, of the dowel center. And that right there is a close-up of the little mark that it put in the opposing half. So just a really easy thing. So I only had 2 dowel centers. So what I'll do is do 2 of them, and then we'll take one of the centers out and do the 3rd one. If I can get it out of there. Okay, so moment of truth here. Got the last of my 3 holes drilled with, finished them off with the ratchet. Honestly, it was a little bit easier than the big one for this smaller stuff, small bit. Just felt that was working a little better for me. So, as I said, I got dowels. You know, I probably could have made dowels out here, but I knew I was going to be pressed for time, trying to get a whole bunch of stuff jammed into just a couple of days. So, Lowe's dowels. These are oak. I thought they'd be a little sturdier or stronger than their other dowels. So So I don't know, we'll just kind of put one in and tap it home. Like I said, I went in up to the paint on the bit, so I'm gonna cut that off, but I'm not gonna go, you know, quite that far. I'm gonna go back of that a little bit. Yep. And yeah, still got my marker. That's good. Haven't lost it yet. So once again, I'm just gonna go back a little bit of the paint on there. I'm sure that these holes are not cleaned out completely, so if there's anything that's kind of scraped down or fallen down to the bottom, you know, that way I won't have to fight too much with it. So I've got a couple pieces of dowel here. Already I can see that those two are not quite straight. I'm sure you can probably see that in the camera there as well. And if you look at them that way, they're not perpendicular either. So we'll carry on, see what happens. Just get my saw here. Trim those off. I'm hoping that even though my dowels and my holes weren't perfectly straight, the holes are going to be, you know, they're just kind of torn out of there. I think they're going to be oversized enough, and these are pretty short. You know, at the end they're not that long. So I'm hoping there's going to be a little bit of a give in the wood, in the hole, to be able to fit this all together. So let's pound the middle one in here. Once again, just take a quick measurement. I can always come back and trim these a little bit if I need to, if it doesn't go completely together. We'll just trim off that third dowel. Okay. Just keep our scraps in case we want to do something else with those. So I got 3 dowels in. Let's line up our faces again. And here we go. Moment of truth. I don't know how many hours I have into this project, but it all comes down to this. Is that third one started? Not quite. 2 started. There we go, third one. Is that what they call a live edge when you beat up the edge of your project like that? I don't know. Okay. Well, this was our flush side, and it's actually pretty tight. It's not bad. A little bit of a gap there, and that's probably because I cut those dowels a little too long. So, you know what? It actually worked out pretty well. This side isn't perfectly smooth because this board wasn't equal thickness all the way through, but this side here is is not too bad. And as far as parallel or flat that way, don't know if you can see, but it actually worked out okay. You know, I got my plane here. it's frozen to that other board. But what we could do very easily, just a little bit of work on that to smooth that out. And that's going to come together really nice. Okay, so I've got just a little bit more to finish up on this one. Not much of an edge to join with, but I think I should be able to get at least a couple of holes in there, and we can make this thing just a little bit wider. But I got those tight enough for this purpose, and got this other one finished off here while the camera was off, but same deal. Ran the plane down that edge, and I think a couple more dowels there, a couple more there, and we should have ourselves the makings of a pretty good tabletop. So I'm gonna turn the camera off, kind of running out of battery and space until I get back tonight and get some of those files downloaded, but hopefully have enough room on the camera with battery in the cold weather to finish this thing off, and then I'll come back and I'll show you when I'm done. So while the camera was off there, I managed to get the rest of this together. Basically, I drilled my holes for that side, my holes for this side, put in my dowels, and had a little bit of planing to do, finish that up, and pounded it all together. So, you know, really for kind of one crack at this, not spending a whole lot of time, just kind of winging it, I think it came together pretty well. I'll show you the edge profile. It's actually pretty flat, which kind of surprised me. The joints are all pretty tight. It's about 24 by 24 inches, and I think we got something we can work with here. So that's the top. I guess all that's left is to put some legs on this guy and put it to some use. Just in the process of putting some legs on this tabletop that we put together. And before I got too carried away, I thought I would just show you what I'm doing. Got the holes drilled for the bottom two legs, and those are inserted in there. And to cut the the hole, we're using our antique bit brace again with our 1-inch auger bit. And to cut these are tenons basically. These tenons for the legs, I've got a tenon cutter. So for that, you'll have to look up one of the other videos on my channel here. I got a few different projects that I've done that, but basically with a drill and a tenon cutter, we can make furniture. So I got the tenons cut on all four legs. I got those two legs inserted, and I got two more holes to drill here. And basically what I did is, you can see I tilted back towards the edge of the table just a little bit, and then I tilted out a little bit, and to get the one set of legs lined up with the other set, basically I'm just eyeballing it, as you see there, so that our legs at the end of the day they're all parallel. So that's what we're doing. I got one more hole gonna finish off this one hole here, and then I got one more hole to drill, and then we're gonna stand this thing upright and maybe trim the bottom. We'll see how level it is. So there we go. The table is complete. I don't know if it's level or not, because nothing around here is level, but it stands on all four legs. It doesn't wobble, and we got it finished. So there you go. Those are the hand tools that we used to put it together. Hand drill, hand saw, and at the end of a kind of a long day, a hard day, we got something that we can say, I made that. So it's functional. Got a place to put my tools, keep them out of the snow now. So that's pretty awesome. Together with my stool, I've even got a place to have dinner. It's kind of a nice evening here. Not too cold, so we might just eat outside tonight. So that's it. Another project complete. On to the next one.